our first down topic as we go into Saquon Barkley. Mike was there in SoFi. Saquon runs for 255 yards. I forgot to look up what he had in the receiving game.
47 yards.
So we're talking, 300 all-purpose yards in the game? Like, just a fantastic game. He's on pace to break Chris Johnson's record and Eric Dickerson's single-season game record, and it's like the internet's going mad with Saquon for MVP. And this topic is just a plea to anybody who has a vote for MVP. Just consider the fact that we understand how valuable the quarterback position is, and we see the teams that are suffering because they don't have it solved. But we have to recognize how incredible this year is and strongly consider and give him MVP. I'm going to let Mike go on this because I know Mike is fired up about Saquon Barkley right now.
Oh, yeah. He's my favorite player in the league right now that's not a Charger, and he showed out for this game to a point that he had me buying Saquon gear on the way out the stadium. On the way back to my car, I felt like an Eagles fan for that little walk back. I was juiced after that game. But, yeah, man. And it's kind of ironic, Tony, that the reason that Saquon isn't going to get serious MVP consideration with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, which is the 2 QB race that we're in right now towards this award, it looks like, is because of his own freaking quarterback. There's 10 touchdowns Saquon could have right now off the tush push that we need to take into account into this conversation. Saquon has 2,000 all-purpose yards today. We have 6 more games. He has 15 touchdowns today. We have 6-7 more games. Like, this is nuts. This is record-breaking stuff. And it goes back to that Adrian Peterson MVP season. It goes back to the LaDainian Thompson MVP season. To me, when a running back shatters records, and I think it even holds more weight in the modern football, it's harder to stay on the field because the running back position is just become committees all over the league. It's also harder to get the same type of stat numbers when all the teams, like the Philadelphia Eagles, are putting A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith out wide, investing all their money and their draft picks into the wide receiver and quarterback position. Like, him breaking these records in this era is almost more impressive than when some of the other guys I'm listing won MVP and did it. So to me, when someone goes and does this, if someone goes and breaks the sack record, if someone goes and breaks the receiving all-time records, if someone breaks the rushing records, and there isn't a quarterback breaking the quarterback records, which I don't think those Manning single-season records are ever going to get fucking broken, then give it to the record-breaking performance, especially when you talk about some of the things that you've told me about, Tony, which I hope you have jotted down in your mind still, like the difference between the Eagles' offense to this year. Like, you could see that gap.
Yeah, so they're up across the board, whether it's points, whether it's explosive plays, like everything has increased. And I think that one of the things that dings, like whenever we talk about quarterbacks and things get messy when you start to talk about guys like where Jalen Hurts is in that conversation. And it's because Howie Roseman has done such a good job of building this roster. And then they have such excellent coaching. Like, every interview that Jason Kelce does, he talks about Jeff Stoutland and the offensive line. And I text you guys in our group chat the other day about Mekhi Becton, about how funny it is that with the Jets, he looked like he was never going to reach that level of potential. And then you see him out there in the game, and he's like pulling from the guard position and just smashing people and dominating. And he's like, all of that stuff goes into account. We talked about this in the offseason too, where it's like there are a couple of running backs we wanted to see in situations. And it was Derrick Henry and the Ravens. And we had a firsthand look at how terrible that was for us at SoFi on Monday night. And Saquon with the Eagles, getting them in these situations with quarterbacks that do increase their ability to be dynamic. But that also goes for the quarterback situation. Like, we look at somebody like Joe Burrow, who's probably could be in an MVP conversation if there's not a flag here, or there's a toe inbounds here, or T. Higgins doesn't miss, 5 or 6 games or whatever he's missed this year. So it's like
field goals, all kinds of stuff.
But Saquon's healthy, he's balling, and like Eagles fans just have to be over the moon with this, especially too because of him coming from the Giants. It's like it just keeps getting sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. I am really looking forward to potential Eagles-Lions NFC Championship game. That would just be absolute dynamite. Like,
yeah, I've got a video dropping on my channel about the back-to-back SoFi things, and I talked about it too, how excited I am for when we see the Lions and Eagles match up. Because on the flip side of things, I know this is a Saquon topic. I was so impressed with how well the secondary played in this game, how they've been all year, and how they're going to match up against the Lions is going to be a ton of fun. So we're going to have like young, hungry players on both sides of the ball lining it up. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and that crew versus Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Darius Slay, and that crew. It's going to be fun.
Well, in just the back-to-back nights, the road running backs put up like 400 yards. And I'm not even including just what Justice Hill did. Like just Saquon and Derrick Henry, we're looking at like 400 yards of rushing between those two guys. So that's exciting.